Hello, this is Colt Allen from Galway Bay coming to you fresh. Making sure that you do this proper, like, okay? Sorry, you're paying attention. If you can't, you got to take a few notes. So, here we go going. Are you ready? Okay, then. So, your zipper. You break your zipper apart, okay? You have a top and a bottom. Make sure you keep them the way they're supposed to be. Okay, this is the top. That's the lock. I'm going to put that on the top. This is my bottom. There's a bottom lock, okay? So I've arranged this to where you just slip it down in there and it comes right to the end. You see that? That's a lock. So then you know that both zippers will align. Okay, that's your gauge. Okay, you have the left and a right. It doesn't really matter what side you use. This is a number 10 zipper. This is a marine zipper. So what I did, there's a complete gusset that goes around the top of this enclosure. Well, I cut it, and then I prepared 2 slip gussets that go over the top, okay? That'll cover the merger when I sew this back together, and I'll show you how that works. I'm going to put one on there, and then I'm going to slip off the binding that goes around on this one, and then I'm going to put another one so they match. Okay, this right here is the inside of, this is the outside of the boat tarp. So when you're standing on the back of the boat, you're looking at this, okay? And then this is the inside. So we're going to start off with our left-hand side zipper, okay? And you want them like this, okay? This is where the zipper begins, but it changes because on the back of the boat, you want to zip your zipper down, okay? It's not like you're unzipping something. It's the back of the boat, and you're zipping yourself in. When you're inside the cab, you're zipping yourself in to the bottom, okay? So that's why I'm doing it like this. And you'll see how zippers work. They can be confusing, but they're not. So anyway, so see how this comes down? This is zipping down. It's zipping down, and we're closing ourselves into the cab of the boat. So that's why this is the way it is, and then this is the top. Okay, that's the bottom. Normally, that's the bottom of the zipper, okay? That's where it'll break. And then they meet together. So, here we go. This is our stage left and a stage right. We're doing stage left. So, I'm coming over here. This is the left-hand zipper to the left-hand part of the enclosure. And see, we're going to go lock and lock. So this is the left-hand lock. And I'm just going to, see how I've undone this? I'm just going to stick this down in there right there. Give myself like a 1/16 of an inch. Yeah, and you can see where the old sew allowance was. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, on this particular instance, now, either you can start like this and sew from the back, which I like to do, or you can gather all of your material up like this and then stave it underneath of your arm on your machine and sew it that way. But then you have to gather all of this. But then you have a true choice there. But I like to come in from behind. So let's just pretend that this is my video. All right. Are you paying attention, Boyle? Okay. So we're going to come over here. And a lot of, in upholstery, you got to always gather. So you pick your battles. You fold it in between, You make sure that nothing's in your way. You got your lighting. Sometimes they're under the neck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up all this stuff. Remember, beforehand. Oops. We're going to come right in, lay it back like it was. Yeah. Good, good. And bring it right down there. And it's all about manipulation now. Okay? So, you want those teeth just right up from the bottom. Knee foot, a lift, and then this first one, we're going to drop your needle first, okay? And then forward, and then back tack. You want to leave a little lip under there that I'll... Okay. Yeah, and this is real life stuff. Sometimes stuff happens, but it's nothing. Okay, what happens if that happens? Hold it in your teeth. Come back under. Slip it down in there. Find your alignment. Bring it over. There we go. And then our thread breaks. I would almost start a new video, but why? This is real life stuff. This is what happens. This is a manual machine. This doesn't, when you stop sewing, it doesn't just clip your thread and then you're ready to go. So this is old school. You're sewing. And we're going to have some sewing videos to show you how things go. But these are the kind of things when people get frustrated. And don't be. Okay, make sure your needle's always on the downstroke. You got that going. And try to hold your stuff true. So like I said, you can see the back. Okay. We're going to come 1/16 of an inch right from the original sew allowance. We're going to pull it taut. Then you can see the bottom. Okay. Plant your needle forward, back tack. Make sure everything's aligned. Gently work your foot, bring it forward. Okay. So, now in this instance you can see, we want it to be equidistant. You see that? That's equidistance. So when this splays open, the zipper head can freely manipulate through there. So we're going to come back. I'm going to turn this, come forward, back tack, forward, drop my needle on the original sew line. You see that? See that little hook I did? Now when I lay it open, you can see. You see this little line here? That lines up with this. So we're going to come just on the inside of that. So here we go, going. And if you look, you can see when you lay it down, it just grabs it. And sometimes your foot, when you're using a zipper foot instead of a splay foot, you know, you'll have to manipulate this. And I like to come on just on the inside of the old sew. Okay, that's me. Fresh meat when you're using a new zipper. I just like to get a new bite. And it's just a pepper hole on the outside. Use your left hand and your right hand and you splay out your fabric. Go a few steps and then stop and look. And then you look backwards and then you look at your sew allowance. You know, you make sure that you haven't missed anything. You see that? That's that zipper's that's secure. The zipper's very, very crucial. And make sure everything's flat. Take your time like this. Don't rush a zipper, because with your thumb, see my thumb here, I'm pulling, but barely pulling, because the machine, the dog feet on the bottom, pull the fabric away from you. That's why you have to have it up underneath here like this. You gather everything up to where if it tugs, you're gonna miss a stitch. This is stitches per inches right here, okay? And then this is the depth of your foot. That will mess up all of that entire equation, and it will not look right. And then you are defeating the purpose of what you do, and that's being an upholsterer. So, gently. You're gathered up on your waist. Everything's flat to your left and forward. You have no obstructions. It's not catching on anything. Very crucial. Always be mindful of how you are sewing, how things are laid out. This is no quarter. Do it right or don't do it at all. But take your time. It's intimidating at first, I know. But enjoy it. It's artwork. What we do is artwork. And it's a dying art. There's not a lot of people that embrace it. The key to it is make sure that it makes you shine. It's beautiful. It's beautiful work. It's artistry, craftsmanship. And people count on you to make this beautiful. And give it to them. Upholstery is a treat. It is a treat. You know, and manipulate your stuff, and be mindful of this glass plastic. We call it glass, but it's plastic. This is a 30 millimeter piece of window glass, and you want to be mindful. That's why your tables are always clean, and you don't have any staples or really rough abrasions around the edges. Everything's smooth, to where it's not going to mar this surface. Or once again, you're defeating the purpose of what you're doing. So, like I said, thumb, under, zipper, and then this binding. See how that folds? That's where that zipper head's going to flow in between there. So that's the whole premise. You just want the teeth to just show when you're sewing. And there we go, we're a little manipulation so it doesn't catch on anything that I might have laying on my table. And you're using your thumb and your forefingers to make sure that it's taut, but you're not. See how as I'm sewing, underneath there's these feed dogs that go like this, and they pull everything forward. So you're not hindering their performance and contorting, or distorting rather, the application of this zipper. And make sure that it's consistent. That's what your thumb and your forefinger are for here. So you're mindful. If you got to only go 2 or 3 inches or even an inch and readjust, but relax. And trust yourself and trust your sewing machine. You have it set. You have your tension set. Everything's calibrated. It's all about you now. This is all about the man or the woman. I'd like to see more women in the industry. Because boys, women tend to pay attention to detail. They give us a run for our money, I tell you what. Okay. And see, you got to catch these zipper heads. You got these zipper heads. They'll catch on the edge of your table. I mean, you got to just constantly change your gait. But make sure that it's flat. and you're good. Now we're right at the end, so we can really you got a little bit more fluent action. Catching on stuff up there, so we got to adjust. Okay, so now we're coming down to the bottom. Or excuse me, this is the top. We started at the bottom. Because remember, we put our lock at the bottom. This little piece here is a zipper head locks there. So you're pulling down to the floor of the boat. So, and then I'll go back and fold this over and make that, make that correct. They had it like this. They folded it over in on itself, and but I'll put a patch on it. I have more binding. And okay, so where are we at? This is the top. So before you go manipulating, remember I told you sink your needle. See that? I sunk my needle. It's on the downstroke, all the way on the down. Now I can move stuff around. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about nothing. Okay? So then you can, if you forgot what you were doing or whatever, you can figure it out. So what I'm going to do here is the key to this is the alignment is the binding, okay? So when it splays open, the zipper head can flow in between the two. So what we're going to do is we're going to scoop back our binding from the top of the enclosure, and we're going to sew it true, okay? We're going to sew it true and sew it through. Forward, back tack, 1/2 inch, always. 3/8, whatever. Pull your thread before you clip. Always pull your thread before you clip. So now we can come back, and you'll notice this is where our zipper ends. So I like that zipper head there. I'll come up and then at an angle. Bam. Okay. So the zipper as you zip up the boat top to open up to get inside your boat. This is what dictates that. You're gonna stop the zipper head. I don't know, like give yourself 1.5 inches from the very top. 1.5 inches. You're gonna sew these two together just so they stop. It's never taxed. It's not like the bottom to where it has to lock. You have to have a key at the very bottom to keep your zipper head from falling off, and then it splays open, and then it's ruined, and you have to open the top and then rethread the zipper head. And anyway, so you bring that up like that to there. We will merge these two together later, but in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to, now that we've came all the way up, we're going to splay out our binding. Okay. Bam. Now, you have a piece that comes out right to the edge that I have pre-cut. This is a patch and a reinforcement. Okay, so we just basically lock that in. We have our left side done. Now, let me grab this. So when these two are all together, when that side and this side is together, we're going to take this from the back, line it up, okay? We'll fix that too. And then we're going to fold it over and merge the two. And this will reinforce that even more. So when the two zippers meet, I'm going to come down 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to sew them together, okay? But this is purely aesthetic. This is just for the eye. And it's important when you have a $68,000 boat, and that's what this goes on. So, yeah, you want it right. Okay? Dear follow boil, it's important that you keep up. Fresh off the boat, quote Alan. What can I do for you? So here we go. We have our first zipper put on. Imagine that. Okay, and then we'll go back on that. This is the bottom. This is on the deck of the boat. So this doesn't matter. I'm going to put a binding patch over this up here and on the bottom. Okay, see how this comes over? I'm going to scooch that back. I'll just put a new piece of binding right across the top so it's black. Okay, and then it's all sealed up, and then that seam, you can't see it from the front or the back. Before, you could see it from the back, but we'll fix all that. But basically, the concept is you keep these runs. These are runs, okay? These are panels, runs. That zipper has to be flat. As you sew, everything has to be flat, and it can't wiggle like this. It can't. It just can't. It has to be flat. And that's why you use the old stitch that you took out, the old zipper, those holes. I like to scooch back and get a fresh bite. It's just a pepper hole. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. Nobody will ever notice it, and it's not in an unprofessional application. It's straight, it's true, and it's correct. Fluid zipper. Zip, zip, zip. Comes off and on. And the bottom now, it has a lock. It didn't have a lock before. So that's our left side, stage left. Standing in the boat. To your left, that's that panel. To my right, that's these two panels. So now, and when you sew, you have a left and a right all the time. You know, if you're right-handed, you prefer a left. If you're left-handed, you prefer a right. But you have to address both. So no one gets what they want ever in life. You got a yin and you got a yang. You got to make sure that you're comfortable with both. So now we are putting on. Remember, this is the lock. You remember the top? We cut this off. Okay, it's basically upside down because we're zipping down our boat. You step inside the boat. You're sleeping in it. You zip it down. And you snap up the windows, put out your cots, if you got a nice boat, like this is. And so this is the application with this. So we start at the bottom like we did over here, because then you have a true course. See? We're going to start at the bottom here. We're going to tuck it in right there, 1/16 of an inch. Like I said, remember the other one? They match up true, okay? But before you do, you make sure to thread your zipper from the top down. So you'll have to cut that top piece. And then it's threaded. I'll show you. And okay, this is the bottom. This is where the zipper comes down. But what do you do first? You make sure that it's on the top. So you have to cut the top. Thread the zipper, and you're good to go. Bop, 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 bop. So you come up here with our zipper, but to get it off, we have to cut it. So we'll cut this off. And you're like, no, what are you doing? So you got one side, you got two sides. And we'll bring them together. And it's a double head. So it doesn't matter what side you start with. You see that? See? Always make sure that you put the zipper together before you go sewing the other side on and locking these two panels together, because then you have to tear it apart. So, how close are we here? Yep. So, you line it up. So a little trick I like to do is I will take my staple gun on my table, when I'm lining up, I'll put them together. But make sure you put staples in the gun. Are you guys having fun yet? All right, so line them up. Line them up true, the teeth, not the locks so much, the teeth. Look at that. So then, you come back over here. Make sure that whatever you're doing is flat. And then you can give it a little tug. You see how it's taut? See that? Always, whether you're sewing or doing something like this is just a little zipper trick. When you come up over here, you pull them both tight, and then you let it relax. And then you let the teeth line up. And then you mark it. I did it with my eye. And then you cut it. And now, watch. You got to do it. It's a simultaneous kind of thing. Zippers are weird. You might have to play with this for a minute. I might get lucky because I'm on video. And it might just flow like butter. Look at that. Let's see how close we are. Now we're coming down. We're coming down! And we are, look at that. We're about an inch off. So now I know. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, come on, darling. Get on in there. Like I said, I just got lucky that one time. So this is just, you'll figure it out. No, we got it twice. Okay. So that means this one, there we go. Okay, fourth time's the charm. Here we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. That's it right there. Hello. You got me now? You're going to do the same thing. It's upholstery. But zippers are, it's goofy. Stuff pulls and tugs. But anyway, so I was, what? You know, just a little over a ½ inch. But we're going to sew across that anyway. And I told you that I was going to come down 1.5 inches. So we're good. So our zipper lines up. And make sure you do it this way, you know, flat and tugging and pulling to where when you relieve, this arrangement, it will not fail you. So they're equidistant. They both you can see the shadow. They both line down in there. Bam. So this one and this one, when I bring this down, I hide that in there and I wrap that around and they both line up perfect. See? And this comes down and these lock. And now this won't happen again because he pulled the zipper head off the bottom because there was not two locking caps on the bottom. These two squares, see that? That keeps that zipper head from coming off. If it comes off, then that means you have to tear that whole part of that top off and relieve all of those different configurations to put the zipper head back on to bring it back down. You can get metal ones that clamp on, but why? Do it right once. Use the existing zipper. It's made like that. These come with it. So why would you want to add anything? So see that? Bam, that ain't coming off. This one here, it does not have a lock on it. So this one here, I will take my heat gun or my fabric cutter, and I will melt these two, and that will never happen on this again. That's all this is the zipper. The zipper head came off, and so it couldn't, you know. And then somehow a tooth got damaged on the old one. So anyway, here we are. We're going to. Now we have to merge these two. So I'm going to take a short break and I'm going to come back. Please like my channel and subscribe if you can. I'm a wealth of information. I don't mean to sound conceited or boastful. This is all that I do. I live and breathe this. I'm in this garage all the time. And I guarantee you, boy, it is rewarding. Oh, wait till you see the banner flying in your heart once you complete one of these beasties. Ha ha! So, I'll see you around like a donut. I'll be back directly.